Hello. Oh, I'm like training to Fear Dragon. Hello, everybody. Welcome back. We're in game number 1 in a best of 3. It's a brand new best of 3 for the WCS Europe qualifiers. Let me swap the nameplates around. Boom, nailed it. Spawning here in the northern spawn location. It's going to be from Carnage Esports. Our friend, the red Zerg player, Namshar.
In the bottom position as the orange Protoss, it's Roots Rotterdam.
And I guess, I don't know how many subs we got around right now, but we got some Rotterdam subs lurking around in chat. I want to see some, like, Roddy Pose P's and all that in chat. And, I got some Base Trade TV folk. I want to see some Ace Namgasms. Just, get that emote spam going and see who's cheering for who. Or whom. What? No, who, I guess. English just hard in this series. Now, ZVP is a bit of a fickle matchup on both sides. I definitely don't think it's as... we'll call fickle, again, another word, I guess, as PvT per se. But one of the things is... if Rotterdam's willing to be aggressive, if Rotterdam's willing to be cheesy, if he's willing to change the matchup and not play standard macro styles, I think he actually stands a pretty good chance versus Namshar. In my opinion, Namshar would definitely be the favorite in this because he gets so deep into all these qualifiers. He's played in a season of WCS after all, and he is just a good all-around player. But he does find weakness when it comes to holding off all-ins.
Yeah, I remember that. I also think that, a macro game isn't necessarily unwinnable for Rotterdam, because I know Namshar, at least I feel like he's gotten in really decent positions, and he is kind of like a Jaedong effect. He will throw good positions away.
Okay, well...
It is, okay? It's what Jaedong does all the time. Oh, this is cool.
Yeah, so Namshar messaged me about this, and I thought he was talking about Cactus Valley, and I had corrected him and said, there's no gold bases, what are you talking about? Because it was during our Cactus Valley conversation, but I guess he was just letting me know that gold base hype meant Van Nuys Research Station.
Oh, okay, alright. So, I think I've seen this from Snoot on his stream. Who else did it? I guess Katz is probably the one that would do it. But this is cool. It's possible it won't be scouted. Let's say Rotterdam goes in there and he sees that a pool is down and he says, oh, okay, everything looks good. That wasn't an early pool. I'm just going to assume you're going to put a hatchery down your natural. And he goes home. Well, then you just made a big mistake.
I kind of feel though it might be like what we saw in Overgrowth a lot of, right? Like, even if you scouted that gold base on Overgrowth, it was kind of hard to punish. And the best ways we saw, of course, punish it were either these really heavy all-ins or attacks that use the low ground against the high ground minerals. Not exactly the same dynamic for this gold base. So Rotterdam doesn't go to check the natural. He sees the drone chancellor. Namshar, can you just be more subtle about this, please? A little bit, like, or I guess I could go full Chandler and be like, could you be more obvious?
Right. It's disappointing because Rotterdam was doing the exact thing I was talking about. He just kind of assumed that if the pool was at that time, the natural was in the natural spot. But now seeing the drone transfer, I think unless he really wasn't paying attention, he definitely would have noticed that. And it's just, not sending the probe over there, I guess, because it's going to be putting down the pylon, maybe? It doesn't want the queen taking it out.
Well, okay. So Namshar's gone for a gold base, and he has saturated it up. It's given him a nice little boost to the economy here in the early game. What do you think happens to the follow-up? Are we going to see some sort of ridiculous roach all-in, or does it just end up being him taking 4 bases real quick?
That's a good question. I think what Snoot did was he did get the 3rd base, but then he did like a very powerful roach attack. So not 2 base, but 3 base a little bit later. Yeah. But I guess it depends on what style Namshar is going to throw with it. You could do offensive, you could do defensive, just play the macro game like you're talking about. I guess there are different options. But it's always more interesting to see what the Protoss is going to do in response to knowing this is down. Because, they have to choose. Either try and be, greedy themselves or just play out the normal macro game and hope the gold base doesn't overwhelm them. Or do, an all-in.
Oh. Okay, so Namshar's going super dirty mode on this one. First off, thank you to Akaij for the 13-month resub. Big, long-time support of the channel. But this is going to be so weird for Rotterdam to have to deal with. I mean, this is, I don't even think I've seen Cats do this on this map yet.
Well, there was that one game where, there was a cannon rush. And then they, expanded the gold base, because that was the only thing you could do.
Does he know about the...
Oh, it was a 2 rounds.
Oh, he does see it. Okay.
Alright, so the Stargate opener seems to be the most common way that we see someone followed up after seeing a gold base taken. Either that or a 7-gate all-in. But the Stargate does get you that control, and maybe they won't have a spore crawler up at that gold base and get some drone kills. It's going to be able to scout the other gold too, which is probably very important.
It does suck to lose 2 overlords like this. This is going to pretty badly supply block Namshar. So I got 2 more overlords on the way though, so 3 more rather. Shouldn't be too bad. But when you see a Phoenix opener like this for Namshar, I mean, the Roach Horn's down and that's well and good, but getting lots of Lings, getting a couple Spore Crawlers, I mean, these Phoenix don't have to get out of hand. And Roddy, by the way, looks like he might be setting up for that 3rd. Not entirely convinced on this yet, because of course the probe count not being so high, but Mothership Core was just kind of chilling over here anyways.
Once again, two gateways, Twilight Council, and a forge. 3 gateways, 3 more gateways. Oh, there's the forge though. So maybe some light aggression combined with Phoenixes. If he's careful not to lift too much, he'll have a lot to lift Lings and Roaches with. A Dark Shrine. Oh, okay, that's what the Twilight Council is leading to.
I mean, okay, so there's a lot of creep spread coming down the crazy side of the map that we never see creep spread on, but I'm like really wondering which direction this goes. Like, is he really going to try and rely on Roaches for the mid game, even though he's seen that it's a bunch of Phoenix? I mean, he did lose his scouting overlords. He doesn't know about the Dark Shrine. He saw the Stargate and might think it was more dedicated along that tech path, but I mean, this might catch him a little off guard initially. I mean, there are Spore Crawlers at each base for anti-air, so he's got at least detection. But as we see the Roaches getting picked apart 1 or 2 at a time, it's going to be really hard to actually get these out on the map. And we even have Rotterdam investing in Protoss air weapon upgrades, so it's not just that he's going for a couple of Phoenix, he's really dedicating to this.
Is he going to go into Void Rays afterwards? Like Void Ray Archon with Dark Templar? Or is he really just going to go for mass Phoenix? I mean, we saw Desro do this once in like the last season's NA qualifier, I think. If you remember that. I don't even remember what map it was on.
I actually don't remember that, but I wouldn't doubt it. I mean, mass Phoenix is a strategy that's totally viable, and if you go if you go too deep in the Phoenix, yes, it's quite powerful for a burst of an attack, but then you run out of juice pretty quick. Now, Rotterdam does clear out the drones, and it's going to cost him a Phoenix or 2 here. But Namshar just brings more in. He's just transferring one over. Not a big deal.
Even still, I don't like. What is Namshar's plan here? He's up to 3 bases, and 2 being a gold means like he's really up to 4.5 or something, right? But just Roaches, is that going to be enough? Especially if Rotterdam had bothered to make 1 or 2 Void Rays, rephrase the Phoenixes are going to be able to take care of them as long as they have energy.
The DT is just going to chip away.
Well, he has to reveal them though, so that wasn't like the plan, right?
I guess, yeah, you don't want to give them away too soon. Burrowing some of the Roaches to get low, probably wondering like, wait, why are these so low? Not exactly an overseer nearby. Not even morphing in right now, actually. A little curious on that.
Does he really not notice?
He has to. There's no way. Like, the Phoenix aren't lifting you up and you're dying. Like, question mark goes above your head. Like, why is this happening?
It's like Metal Gear. It's like an exclamation point, and they're like, huh, maybe nothing.
Whatever the sound effect was. Like, what's that box doing there? Metal Gear! Alright, well, he's going to get in with a couple of the Roaches, but they're really not going to get a lot done. I mean, the DTs are here for defend. Even what they don't defend, the Phoenix are going to be able to graviton beam up. I guess the nice thing, though, is by putting on this small amount of aggression, though, you know, the Phoenixes, the Oracles, nothing is going for that mineral line. So it's weird to throw away these Roaches, but in a way they're giving him more money because his mineral line remains intact. Plus, he's causing a bit of very annoying grass. Front on overcharge at the 3rd, cannons up in the main. Looks like DTs have finally cleaned this up. Man, that Roach regen is kind of nice.
Yeah.
Oracle being used for detectionist.
You're right, that's the reason he got it, because he saw that they were burrow Roaches. But even though Namshar is buying a lot of time and keeping his drones safe from the Phoenix harass, and the Phoenixes are almost out of energy here, still be safe for a little while longer. I do still question what is next on his list of things to get. He has an infestation pit on the way, but no Hydralisk den, so I gotta assume there's gonna be like swarm hosts or fungals. You know, not going up to vipers.
Well, okay, so here's what I want to argue that I think is really cool about this, though, right? Like, if he doesn't straight up die because he doesn't have units or gets caught off guard, by mining so many of these minerals, he does just straight up take this away from Rotterdam. And let's, in a hypothetical situation, assume this goes to some sort of crazy split map scenario. This is almost a half a base of minerals Rotterdam's not going to have in that trade, in that exchange.
That is true. There's 1 more gold base on this map.
It's in the middle. But, I mean, it's not even about it being gold versus normal. The idea is that you've taken the minerals away from this part of the map.
Oh, yeah, I know. But I just, no one ever remembers there's another gold base.
Well, I think it's because no one's able to take that until the game's, like, really down to the wire anyways.
Is it the only map that has 3 gold bases?
It might be. Even thinking, like, the new Legacy maps, I don't think any have 3.
Yeah. Usually there's only 2, 1 for each side of the map. But alright, it's going to be Fungals, maybe to help clear out the Phoenixes, but you still need more than just Infestors to do that, unless they magically get a chain Fungal on all of the Phoenixes.
Well, Transfuse is keeping this alive. A lot of Roaches and Lings are out. I can't say this is the most effective army because he still has to deal with what's combination Archons and possibly more DTs. But the Infestors, Fungal Growth, that's the reveal. We're going for melee weapon upgrades with a Hive Tech on the way behind this, so maybe Ultras.
Yeah.
I mean, we've really seen players start to question how do you replace that gap that is and was Swarmhost. And Ultras are not bad. Broodlords are still pretty good. But with this many Phoenix, I wonder if they want to really go into Broodlords, right?
Oh yeah, I don't know about Broodlords, but I think with the Queens coming out here, with the melee upgrades.
Ah, yeah. Lots of Queens, lots of Transfuses. Good point.
I'm sure teams would like Queens a lot.
He does. He'll go mass Queens and like ZVZ and be like, "What's up?" There was a game I don't think you cast with me, but like, was it Zelnaga Caverns or whatever during the Dream Pool? He played versus Blide. He went mass Queens and walked up the ramp because of how close the bases were.
You told me about it, but you're in and cast it.
So you're right, Namshar does like his Queens. I don't think it's a bad thing, though. With the Transfuse energy possibly available, those Ultras should never die. And really, Rotterdam doesn't have the map presence to threaten him before this. Good, Fungal Growth goes down. That's going to be a good couple Phoenix to die. Not sure if all four. Actually, yeah, that third Fungal, definitely. But how do you identify, like, oh, it's Mass Phoenix, it's definitely at least the Ultras? Like, no, that's not always the case.
I really like the Queen choice for the Phoenix as well as the potential Ultralisk. Nothing has been thrown down yet for the tech on that Hive.
I can't believe he's gotten away with 2 gold bases for so long, too. I mean, this isn't even Rotterdam making a big mistake. This is just a classic mistake we see. Like, again, this happened a lot on Overgrowth. There's only a very limited, very finite way... amount of ways you can deal with a gold base. Sorry, I just got a little caught off guard by the amount of spines coming down. But I guess now he really has decided he wants to keep this base. He was transferring drones away from it earlier because I guess he thought he was going to lose it. But, man, with the creep spread, with the spine crawler wall, and with some Vipers coming out with these Ultras, I'm feeling so good about Namshar's place in this game.
Yeah. Yeah, when was the last time Rotterdam warped in a sentry, much less got a hallucinated scout on?
Actually, that's true. Look at his vision. He's not even seen the natural base of Namshar in quite some time. Warband's starting up, though. This is going to be good for Rast. I mean, the Ultras aren't out yet. Investing those adrenal glands going to pull these Lings back home, but he's not even like Rotterdam's rocking that upgrade lead, right? It's just not a great position to be in for him.
I wish that the harassment had gone down a lot sooner, you know? Like, really, Namshar's entire focus has been on the right side of the map. His main base could have been compromised. You know, I guess if those DTs didn't have to be warping defensively, those would have been doing a lot of damage to the main base and the main tech. Once again, finding a burrow to be quite annoying. It's not going to invest into an observer despite having 2 robos now.
Well, he's got the Oracle still up, right? So
it's so much easier to have an observer. I'm just saying, like, it's not gonna get picked off by corruptors for the most part.
I agree, but I think right now, in his mind, he sees a lot of Lings, Infestors, and Queens. He's thinking Colossus, Colossus, Colossus. Really, it needs to be Immortals, Immortals, Immortals. I think he actually has the splash damage through the Archons. But again, this comes back. Because he hasn't seen Hive Tech. He hasn't seen the Ultra Cavern.
But you've seen Infestors and Queens, you know? Like, it's not like Immortals. Like, you gotta wonder what's going on. What's the third, like, ingredients in this, right? And I'm surprised he's thinking...
Well, he's probably thinking Roaches, because that's what it's been up to this point. He saw the +2 weapon upgrades on the Queens. I mean, all honesty, it doesn't look like it's Ultras, and he still doesn't see the Cavern with the War Prism. So while this attack starts off, we got some Confessed Terrans being annoying. Rotterdam is going to regret this decision, have... more Phoenix, more Colossus. Everything he's making right now is not good for what's actually coming.
Is he seriously not seeing all? Oh my god, he was so close to seeing it. And I still don't know. I think he's just... But he still hasn't seen it even after moving the War Prism when he talked about it.
I know. I kept checking back here like every 3 seconds because he has not seen the Ultra Cavern. Now, the Spine Crawler defense is actually kind of sick. I love that Namshar did plop like 18 of these down like across the map at each base too. But, Blinding Clouds, Ultras... Well, actually, these... Spine Crawler is going to work against the Ultras. It's going to be some very awkward SimCity here. There's
so many Queens with, like, Transfuse. I don't know. I think he's just...
there we go.
Okay, finally he sees it, but, I mean...
Is he aware that they're on the map? No.
Well,
he's not seen them.
Maybe not. I still, like, it's just, oh, what's the third element? Like, Roaches? You haven't seen Roaches in the past, like, 5 minutes, or you've only seen, like, 6 of them. So him still continuing to make Colossus.
No!
There's gonna be...
What game are you watching? He's been attacking with Roaches non-stop.
Not with like many of them, not like a whole entire force of them. He had Queens, Infestors, and a handful of Roaches, and the entire rest of the army was Ultras that he did not see yet.
Yeah, the problem is he's still not actually seen them. Despite seeing the Cavern, he might think he's still got time, right? So he didn't cancel these Colossus and start making a bunch of Immortals. Maybe he's hoping to catch what little detection there is, warping some DTs. you know, kill the Overseers or something like this. I don't know, but Colossus and Archons, they've got a lot of damage. This is a very powerful army, but it's not the most effective versus what is coming. I mean, those fungal growths are going to hold everything in place. The Ultras are going to get that splash damage through the Kaiser Blaze. Blinding Clouds are going to go down, so the Immortals cannot fire what little there are. This is, oh, the sickest spread of Zerg I've ever seen.
Well, sure. It is pretty good. That's quite dangerous to run into. And Rotterdam's gonna run into it.
There's the fungal growths coming down. Blinding Clouds covering everything.
Oh my god. He just got so, I feel like, so, like, single, you know, track-minded here. I think not even any High Templars for, like, feedbacks. Oh my god.
I think there's been a lot of tunnel vision going on ever since the gold base went down. It was a big distraction for a large part of the game. A big oh my god factor. And, man, Namshar just crushes that army. He makes it look easy. Like, when do you ever see Zerg play so efficiently, cost-efficiently? Just doesn't happen. Chitinous plating, by the way, is done. We're waiting on that 3-3 for upgrades. Corruptor's coming out next. Broodlord's going to be the transition. If his opponent... Namshar is expecting Rotterdam to go Immortals now, and that's the Broodlords. So a counter to the counter on the way.
It's been a while since I've seen someone so blindsided by an Ultras game.
Yes, like, that's true. I mean, we've seen players use Ultras, but not to that effect.
Not for against someone who just doesn't know about it for so long. I mean, it was getting to a point where I was just like, you have to know that something is up. Maybe you still haven't seen the Ultras, but you have to know something is up. Like, how are you still dedicating to Colossus? Is that your plan? Are you thinking this is gonna work? Like, and even after seeing everything, Ultras, Queens, Infestors, you still don't have a Templar Archives? Because you're really just thinking like it's not gonna be useful against the Vipers either?
Yeah, the feedbacks that we get, there we go, finally starts up. But I don't think for Rotterdam it's an issue of not knowing. It's more of just he doesn't have a lot to work with already. He's probably, his mind's racing a mile a minute right now, I'd imagine, trying to figure out what do you do, what are you worried about next. While he does make Immortals, I guarantee you on the back end he's thinking there's eventually going to be Broodlords. If your opponent's got Ultras, they've got Hive Tech, you know, what comes next? And nothing here really mixes out well for him. There's still 10 Queens on the field too, and again, that topic of feedbacks comes in where maybe you take away some transfuses, but doesn't matter if you can't kill anything in the first place because you've just invested in Templar. Killing a Queen for supply too to make more Broodlords, that's some stone cold badassery, I guess.
Well, we have a lot of High Templars finally being warped in. Checks the army with a couple of Zealots. Oh, doesn't see the Broodlords, by the way. Still in the dark about that. Once these Broodlings, I mean, there may just be a tap out there. Like, he's also completely, like, just doesn't have any Blink Stalkers. Never got Blink. Well,
it's the problem, too, where, once again, even if there were Fungal Growths, Blinding Clouds, the combination of the two keeps them from doing anything. I mean, everyone's like, Zerg got nerfed with the Swarm Host. How do you even play this game anymore? Well, apparently take double golds of Anti-Research Station and go straight to Ultras.
Well, there's the first indication of Broodlord, I believe.
And this is where the Colossus kind of start working out. At least you'll have the AoE for the Broodlings, but, you know, it's... I do think this is too far gone. We're abducting what little Immortals there are directly into the Ultra list. Broodlord's focus fire those down immediately. Blinding Clouds coming in the back end of it. Feedbacks go down on most of these units, but there's still so much energy on everything in the army behind this. Fungal Growth's locking it down just the same way Namshar is locking down game number 1.
Yes. It took 26 minutes.
GG.
But he did it.
Well, it's safe than sorry. Not going to throw the game versus Rotterdam. We'll see what